The lines that you see on your chart are the XABCD News Pro indicator. You can see when I click on a line, the news does appear. All the high priority news is being displayed right now, but any news that is going to be at the same time, you can see when you click on the line itself. Now, there's two parts of this tool. One is these lines that get put on your chart wherever there's a news event. And then there is the other part, which is the calendar. And you get to choose which news events appear on this chart, specifically by event name, or you can say all the high priority, or you can say all the high and medium priority, or whatever you choose. Holidays, you can have that put on the chart. Now, it doesn't matter if it's a futures, forex, or stock chart, it all will work the same. This is economic news that comes out. Think like NFP, PMI, a lot of inflationary type news, oil inventories, that sort of thing. Anything that you would typically see on an economic calendar will be on here, and more. I want to specify that again, and more. You'll probably not find anything more complete. Now, what differs between what we have and looking up a web page, besides the fact that this is in your face and you don't have to check a web page, which a lot of people aim to do but never do, you can actually see the reaction of the news when you look at past news events and say, okay, there's a news event there. What sort of reaction did it cause? And it's nice to see it all lined up, because sometimes you look back at your chart and you're either looking for patterns or the buffer area. You can see maybe a faint pink. I'll show you how you can customize all this in a second, but you can make it as intrusive you want or you can make it as quiet as you want. Now, you can change all that with your styling, but the buffer area will actually trigger an alert so that you know ahead of time that a news event's coming out, and it's a custom audio file that says high priority news event or something like that. Anyways, what you'll see now is I have only the high priority on. I'm going to bring over the calendar view. And the calendar view is really cool because it's going to be able to show you a whole bunch of things that allow you to work with a whole bunch of other news event type stuff. So all the events that are in gray are news events that have already come out. All the news events that you see in their priority color is going to be either high, medium, or low, which again, these colors are all customizable. So when you change a color on the line, you can change the color on this calendar as well. And you can see that we give you the impact, but also the previous, the forecasted, and the actual event news outcome, as well as these impacts are updated based off of the previous reaction of the news. So if we've been getting a lot of oil inventory news that has been moving the market, it might jump from medium to high. In fact, if we look at Wednesday and say we're looking for crude oil inventories, we could pull that up and say, okay, well, look, it is going to be a high priority. Or we can use this new search bar feature and we can type in inventory and you can see it already pops up. If you want to know if the Fed's talking about anything, if you want to know when FOMC is coming out, if you want to know when non-farm payroll is coming out, it's an easy way to look things up. And we give you a whack of news data. Right now, it's currently it's 2 weeks at a time, and we are looking at expanding that. So chances are that might already be done at this point. Now, you can also use this stuff if you integrate it with your custom coding or Bloodhound. You can get a basically an integer depending on if news is out or not. Each news priority has a different number that's associated with it so that you can tell your own program stop trading when there's news. And that can happen right when we go into the buffer area. Now, I was talking about those buffer areas before. If you go into your new settings, you can see all the stuff that you can change. So each column is going to be a different priority. So high, medium, low, and holidays. And then you can actually change anything in here. So the line width is that dashed line. Let's just say we made it 15 just so you can see the difference. Okay, so I like having mine, I don't know, at 3. You can pick whatever number you want. The opacity of the line is going to be like how see-through it is, how transparent it is. Right now I have it set at 50%, which makes it a little bit more faint. The buffer, here we'll start with the buffer bar count. That's how wide it is. So if I make this 50, you can see that that area just got wider. And then if I make it 15, it's going to get skinnier. If I don't want it to exist, I can put 0, right? And I can actually turn that off. But I do really like it because sometimes as you're trading smaller time frames, you're not quite sure if news is coming up. But if you have your buffer there you will instantly see your background slightly turn pink, and you'll know, hey, there's a high priority news event coming out. And of course, your audio file that we have there can be customized, but that is the default one that we have set. You can also decide if you want to see these past events. So you see these events on your chart that are in the past. Maybe you want to keep your chart a little bit cleaner, so you want to uncheck those. So then you see only the pending news that is coming out. So then we can actually put that back on and we can see all the prior events. Now, the reason why this is so helpful is because if you turn on everything, like if you want the low, unless you're trading really small time frames, there's going to be like a lot of news. So you might want to make, let's just say, different priority levels at different opacity so that they maybe blend in a little bit more so that you don't really see them. And maybe you're going to give some of them a smaller bar count. I have them set at 1 and make them a little bit more transparent so you don't really see them, but you know that news is coming out and maybe it's something that is going to move the market a bit, but you don't really need it in your face. So then you can hide all these things a little bit, but still know that you have news coming out. So it's kind of nice that way that you have complete control over the styling and how they look. And then if you don't want to see any of them, or if you want to just turn off all the past events and just keep the futures ones on, you can do that too. But it's totally up to you on how you want to do it. So I like having basically my most important events on based off the timeframes I use. So just keeping the high on there. You can also do selected events by actually selecting the events you need, and you can filter them down based off country. So I have US dollar and high, and I can see just that in my calendar. So it's really neat, and I can select just the events I want. I know some funded type programs will not let you trade during specific high priority news events. That's where this can come in handy. You'll always know when that is coming up. So there's a lot of use cases to having this directly on your chart, and not just through some sort of a web page, but also being able to get those alerts. And sometimes you're working away and you'll hear it and you'll go, oh, and you'll remember to change your stops or put them up to break even or whatever you might want to do to reduce your risk. And that in itself pays for the program, because like if you took a stop and moved it up to break even, which originally might have taken a loss on the news event, you've kind of saved yourself that money. So over time, it is a one-time fee for the program, and that's it. You get all your updates, so you get all the new stuff that we just released. This is version 1.7.0.13. So if you're one of our many customers that have purchased the News Pro, you can definitely get that. We also have a free version of it, which is going to basically, it was the first, we published this indicator totally for free, showing you all the news events on your chart, and you can get that free indicator as well, but it doesn't do any of the filtering, doesn't do any of the sound effects or allow you to customize it at all. It is very raw, and that we released first, and then all these feature requests came in, and that basically is what made the News Pro what it is and why so many people love it, because it does allow you to do so much in the way of customization, keeping your chart clean. So being able to have that all the news on your screen, and you can change the position of this. You can change how big you want that font, the colors you want the font. You can basically put it wherever you want, and it's nice to have that sort of clean chart and be able to keep it clean and less cluttered. And if you want to make the lines really faint so you hardly see those too, you can definitely do that as well. So something you should definitely check out. I think almost anyone could probably use this on their NinjaTrader 8, and it does run on NT8. It is going to be something that is probably going to be a tool that you find hard to live without. After a while, you get accustomed to using and seeing that news there. Automatically, every time you start NT8, we update the news, but you can also update manually through that calendar window. So lots of different things that you can do. Now, the one last thing I'll point out, which I don't think is super obvious, but with that calendar and all those settings that are inside here, this is a global setting. So when you place this indicator on any other chart, you're going to get the same settings. So you don't have to worry about configuring an indicator 20 different times on 20 different charts. Or if you make a change in one area, like you don't want the medium priority news, then you can make one change here and it's going to affect all your charts. Or if you decide, maybe it's a period of low volume, possibly a holiday or something like that, and you want the medium news there because then it has more of an impact on the market, you can definitely put that there and it will update all your charts. So it's really nice that everything is made in a sort of global configuration mode, and then you can decide and make changes very quickly and easily to the product. Anyways, if you have any questions on that, you can always visit us at xabcdtrading.com. We do have a live chat as well. And if you have any questions, you can either toss them in that live chat or you can come and toss them in the comments below. And we will see you guys in the next video.